In this video, we are trying to demonstrate how you can do step-down method for cost allocation. So in the step-down method, the cost of each support departments are allocated both to the other support departments and to the patient services departments. And so let's visualize this way. And so to the figures on your left, which are housekeeping, administration, and finance. These are your support departments, whereas the patient service departments are your medicine and surgery. So in this example here, as you can see, the funds, the costs for each support departments are allocated to the other support departments plus the patient service department. So for housekeeping, you can see that the arrows are pointing to administration, to finance, medicine, and surgery. For administration, it's the same. You can see the arrows are pointing to medicine and surgery and finance. And for finance, the arrows are pointing to medicine and surgery to graphically demonstrate that allocation cost flows from housekeeping to administration to finance. So this is demonstrates that the step down method is a sequential step or stair step, right? Method for allocating cost. This also means that if you think about the first step here, right? Imagine the stairs. Once you have allocated funds out of the step, for example, housekeeping, you would essentially close out this step here for housekeeping on level A. This is why you don't see arrows moving from the administration upwards, because you do not provide funding up in the stair step process. It may be easier to visualize it this way, where you can see that for housekeeping, the allocation funds goes to administration, to finance, to medicine and surgery. But for when you look at the administration, right, allocation for administration includes the initial allocation amount of 400,000. But remember that it has received an allocation cost from housekeeping, the amount of which we haven't completed yet. But this amount would now be distributed to finance, medicine, and surgery. The same goes for finance, where we have the original allocation cost of 300,000, right? But it also is now receiving allocation costs from both housekeeping and from administration. But it will only be providing this entire amount to medicine and surgery departments, right? Because it is in this figure here, it's the lowest step. The lowest step does not provide funding to the steps above it. So let's take a look at an example where this example is again Anika Hospital that has two patient service departments, medicine and surgery. And the patient service departments are supported by housekeeping departments, the financial services department, and the administration department. The administration department of Anika has compiled this information. So for housekeeping, it has about $200,000 in direct cost, about 3,000 square feet, and 250 employees. Administration has $400,000 in direct cost, about 5,000 square feet occupied, and 500 employees. Financial services has about $300,000 in direct cost, about 2,000 square feet occupied, and about 100 employees. And for medicine, which is now we're looking at the two patient service departments, medicine and surgery. Medicine has about $1 million in direct cost, about 63,000 square feet occupied, and has about 2,600 employees. For surgery department, it has $1.5 million in direct cost, about 40,000 square feet occupied, and 2,200 employees. So the cost driver for housekeeping is square feet, and the cost driver for administration and financial services is the number of employees. So now we want to compute how much of housekeeping funds are actually allocated to. Remember that housekeeping here, the funds here are actually allocated to the two other support services and to the two patient service departments, right? So how much of the housekeeping funds are allocated to these four departments? We do not allocate funds to housekeeping, but the entirety of the amount of housekeeping funds are provided to these four departments. So this is what we need to figure out. Okay, so in this case, total square foot would be, as we computed, 100,000. So for administration is 5,000 square feet. Financial services is 2,000 square feet. Medicine is 53,000 square feet. And 40,000 square feet for surgery. Total of 100,000 square feet. Again, we do not include the square footage for the housekeeping department because we do not allocate funds for the housekeeping department. Okay, so we only include these four departments. The total here is 100 square feet and an allocation rate of $200,000 divided by 100,000 square feet, which gives you the allocation rate of 2.0. So now we can calculate the allocation amount for each department. So we just multiply the allocation rate with the exact square feet for each department. So in this example, administration would be 2 times 5,000 square feet. That gives us an allocation amount for administration of $10,000. For financial services, it's 2 times 2,000 square feet, and that gives us $4,000. For medicine, it's 2 times 53,000, which gives us $106,000. And for surgery, it's 2 times 40,000 square feet, which gives us $80,000. Okay. So let's move on to administration. So remember that this amount here, the administration department receives $10,000 from housekeeping. So now let's look at the actual allocated amount to administration. So initially it has received $400,000 for direct cost, but now we know that it has also received $10,000 from housekeeping, which gives a total allocated cost for administration of $410,000. So now we need to figure out how much of this allocated cost is of this total cost is allocated to the finance, medicine, and surgical departments. Right? We do not include housekeeping. Rather, we only include these three departments here: medicine, surgery, and finance. Because we do not include funding for administration services to the actual department, and we also do not point to the previous department above it, which is housekeeping. So in this case, we can now calculate for the administration cost based on the total. We know the cost driver is the total employees. So all we need to add is the number of employees for financial services department, which is 100. For medicine, it's 2,600, and for surgery, it's 2,300. Again, we do not include the number of employees for administration and for 200 and for the housekeeping department, even though we can see that in this example, it has a number of employees. That's because the allocated funds of the administration department do not go to itself, nor does it go to the step above it, which is housekeeping, but only to the steps below it, the departments below it, which is the financial services department, medicine, and the two patient services department, which is medicine and surgery. Right. So in this case, we can calculate now the administration. So we divide 410,000 divided by the total employees, which is the cost driver. So in this case, we divide this by 5,000, which is the total number of employees for these three departments here. And we now know the cost driver, which is 82. So now we can calculate the allocation amounts for each department that will receive this. So for financial services, it's 82 times 100 employees for $8,200. For medicine, it's 82 times 2,600 employees or $213,200. For surgery, it's 82 times 2,200 employees, and it's equal to $188,600. Again, if you add these three figures up, it should show you that this amount adds up to $410,000. And I forgot to mention it's also the same here. If you add these four figures up, it should also add to $200,000. Okay. We can also now calculate for the financial services. Similarly to how we calculate for the administration, right? We know that initially that financial services received $20,000 in direct cost, but it now has received allocated amounts from housekeeping, which is $4,000, and from administration, right? Remember this amount of $8,200, which gives us a total of $312,200. We can also, similarly, the cost driver for financial services is the number of employees. And because this is the lowest step, we do not need to include any other support services here, but we only calculate for the patient support services, medicine and surgery. So the total patient service employees is, in this case, is 4,900. We can now calculate the allocation rate, which is 312,200 divided by 4,900. It gives us an allocation rate of 63.714. Allocation amount is as follows, as you see here. Medicine is 63.714 times 2,600 equals $165,157. For surgery, 63.714 times 2,700 employees goes to $146,543. Right? So that's your allocation amount from the financial services department. Let's compare what the difference is between direct method and step-down method. Right? So for example, for housekeeping, remember direct method only provides allocated amounts to the patient service departments. So it's only medicine and surgery. Okay? Whereas in step down, the housekeeping department has to provide funding to the support services underneath it, which is administration and financial services. Again, for administration, it's the same thing. Right? We take a look at also the employees underneath administration, which is your financial services here, right? And so that means that the allocated amounts would differ. And for the financial services department, the figures differ because they also factor in the funding from other departments.